Want to call to order the Iberville Parish Council regular meeting Tuesday, July 15th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. We have a roll call, please, Maxie.
Allen.
Here.
Easley. Dominique.
Here.
Frazier. Here.
Here.
Jenkins.
Here.
Markins. Bradford.
Here.
Martinez.
Here.
Jordan.
Here.
Jewell.
Here.
Morgan. Smith.
Here. Let the minutes reflect that we do have a quorum. Before we get started, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence in honor of longtime police juryman and parish councilman, Mr. Howard, who passed away a couple weeks ago. Thank you. Councilman Allen, would you lead us in the pledge? To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to remind everyone that all public comments must be registered with the clerk in order to address the council. At this time, we'll have some presentations and appearances. Item A is resolution of recognition for Lillian Hatch Perry. Mr. Jewell?
Yes, as Miss Lillian made 102. So I want to read this real quick. I'll make it quick, and she's not here tonight to accept this, but I'm going to present this to her at the Town of Marion meeting on the second Monday of next month. So, resolution of recognition for honoring Miss Lillian Hatch Perry. Whereas Miss Lillian Hatch Perry was born on July 10th, 1923 in Marion, Louisiana, to the late Ivy and Olivia Hatch. Whereas she received her early education in a one-room schoolhouse that still stands today in Marion, Louisiana, a lasting testament to her humble beginnings and enduring history of the community she so dearly loved. Whereas Miss Perry entered into holy matrimony with Mr. Henry Perry, and together they built a strong and loving family over the course of more than 67 years of marriage, raising 12 children in faith, love, and unity. And where she is devoted lifetime member of Mount Gideon Baptist Church, where she was baptized at an early age, served faithfully for many years in the church choir, and continues to serve as the cherished mother of the church. And whereas her family tree continues to blossom with 18 grandchildren, 23 great-grandchildren, and 2 great-great-grandchildren, all of whom are blessed by her love, wisdom, and examples. Whereas she remains active and vibrant, tending to her rose bushes, enjoying shopping excursions, and remaining a central figure in both her family and the wider Marion community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we proudly recognize and honor Ms. Lillian Hatch Perry for her extraordinary life of 102 years, her steadfast faith, enduring love for her family, and her invaluable contributions to the community of Marion, Louisiana. Be it further resolved that this resolution be presented with deep admiration and heartfelt gratitude, celebrating a remarkable life that continues to inspire all who are privileged to know her. Chris Daigle, past president, and Steve Smith, council chair. And we appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Jewell. Okay, we have a resolution of condolence from Mr. Howard Oob, Jr.
Good evening. We have a resolution to express sincere and heartfelt condolences upon the death of former Councilman Howard J. Oubre Jr. Whereas it is with deep regret and profound sorrow that Iberville Parish Council learned of the death of Howard J. Oubre Jr. on July 1st, 2025, as he was a beloved resident of Iberville Parish and whose life was a testament to service, sacrifice, and leadership. Whereas Howard Oubre Jr. served as a police juror and councilman to District 7 for Iberville Parish from 1993 until his retirement in 2016. As a devoted public servant for 23 years, Howard Ubry Jr. was instrumental in sponsoring many projects in Iberville Parish and touched thousands of lives, helping create a better Iberville Parish. Whereas, under the direction and leadership of Howard J. Ubry Jr., Iberville Parish improved roadways and drainage, enhanced emergency services, facilities to serve the senior citizens, and honor the veterans of Iberville Parish. Whereas Howard Ubry Jr. selflessly served his country with courage and distinction as a United States Army paratrooper, and upon returning home continued his mission of service through a passionate commitment to public service and community leadership. The citizens of Iberville Parish and District 7 will forever be grateful for his guidance and dedication. Whereas Howard Ubry Jr. is survived by his 4 sons, Howard John Ubry III, Darrell Ubry Sr., Duran Ubry Sr., my fraternity brother Kemp Ubry Sr., and the citizens of Iberville Parish are grateful for the Ubry family for allowing Howard to serve the public for over 2 decades. Whereas the death of Howard J. Ubry has left a huge void in Iberville Parish, and his lengthy legacy of public service to Iberville Parish shall live long in the hearts and minds of those he helped and those who know and loved him. It was signed by Council Chair Steve Smith and Parish President Chris Day.
Chair recognizes Mr. Dominique.
I would like to say this to the Ubry family. It was an honor serving with Mr. Howard doing the police jury and the parish council. This guy and I had a lot of projects going on. He was here, and he was a great man. I want y'all to remember that.
Yes, he was.
Great man.
Thank you, Mr. Dominique. Mr. Jewell.
I wanted to say that Howard was a character. He sat right next to me when I was the chairman, and he would always tell me, he said, "Now, Mr. Chairman, let's get this meeting going." He said, "I got to get home to see the Dancing with the Stars." I love that show. So that was every meeting I could count on him saying that, and pushing me to make that meeting real quick. So anyway, we're gonna miss him. I tell you that he's a good fellow. So
Thank you, Mr. Jewell. Okay, we're going to pass on C from the presentation and appearances. We now have the audit presentation by Baxley and Associates, Ms. Margaret Pritchett.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. President, councilmen and councilwomen, for this opportunity to come and serve you again this year. And also thank you for supporting local business. I appreciate that. I would like to also say thank you for the many people who assisted us in preparing the audit, especially Randall Dunn and Mr. David Hall, Ms. Melissa Bushnell, Ms. Jennifer Seneca, and an extra special thank you to Stephanie Glenn and Ms. Denisha Fernandez. Excellent job by everyone. Really appreciate all of their help. I would like to begin. Last year I mentioned to you all about the independent auditor's report, which is on page 1 through 3. This is our opinion that we express on the report. And I just want to point out again this year that y'all received the highest opinion, which is an unmodified opinion. It means based upon our sampling of transactions, we found that the financials are not materially misstated, and we believe they are true and fair. So on a grading scale of A, B, C, D, y'all received an A+. I'd like to begin by looking at page 18. This is our statement of net position. And I'm going to point out just some of the variances that are greater than 5% comparing the year 2024 to the year 2023. And if you look at the page, you look at that third column, which is the total. That's the total of all your funds. Your general fund, your special revenue fund, your capital project fund, and the utility department. So you see that your total assets increased by $16 million this year, or 5.6% over the previous year. Some of the variables that make up that increase, your cash, the first line item there, cash and cash equivalents, increased by $17 million. Your capital assets increased, net value capital assets increased by over $1 million. But y'all purchased a lot of things and did a lot of projects during the year. Those consist of the American Rescue Plan. In that department, $2.4 million was spent replacing meters, the visitor center renovation, Parks and Recreation, the bathroom addition, roadway improvements. Other projects of about $6 million included improvements to the water and the sewer system, Civic Center generator, White Castle, canal dredging, and various other equipment that was purchased. So if you take the gross value of those assets and you subtract the depreciation expense for the year for both governmental funds and utility funds, is $10 million. So the gross minus the $10 million depreciation leaves you that net increase in capital assets of about $1 million. Moving further down on the page where we see liabilities, the liabilities in that third column decreased $6.5 million, or 24%. And the reason for the decrease, about 3 reasons for your decrease. One, you paid off more debt. So your outstanding debt actually decreased by $2.4 million. That means you paid more principal on your debt. Second reason is the OPEB and the pension liability, which are those actuarially determined numbers, fluctuate year to year. That decreased $3.4 million. And the third reason is your unearned revenue. That number decreased by $2.4 million. And what that number is in that unearned revenue, that is the ARPA funds. When the ARPA funds come in, they were put in that account. As they are spent, they are moved to your income statement. So basically, you have another $1.1 million left in there to spend on your ARPA funds, and those need to be completed by 2026. So if you take those assets minus those liabilities, that leaves you a change in net position of $20.3 million. This is an increase of 7.5%. So that change in net position, basically that is your net income for the year. Y'all made $20.3 million. So again, that's due to all of your hard work. If you turn to the next page, page 19, which is your statement of activities, your first column, you're going to see total governmental activity expenses. That number increased only by $2.4 million. That's about a 4.8% increase. So not a big increase. It's less than 5%. Then under that, you see total business type activity expenses. That number only increased $261,000. So that's about a 2.9% increase. Now, as you move up to the second column, you see charges for services, governmental. That number actually decreased 53%, and that is because of the Iberville Medical Complex CDBG charges were actually reduced by about $1.1 million this year. They went down. Then the next one is charges for services, business type activities. That's the next revenue item. It actually increased $510,000, or 7%. That is mainly due because you had increase in gas consumption, and water revenue for commercial customers increased. Y'all had about 19 new commercial customers this year, so that accounted for some of your increase there as well. Then the next couple of columns there are added together, the operating grants and capital grants. Those two columns added together, you see that's about $7.5 million if you look at the total of those two columns. That number actually increased $2.1 million, or about 28%, and there are several variables that make up that increase. Drainage maintenance fund decreased by $650,000. Sales tax roads decreased by $386,000. Solid waste increased $110,000. Again, your ARPA funds by almost $2 million there. Capital improvement fund increased $1.7 million. Parish transportation decreased $190,000, and then FEMA increased about $500,000. The next column, total general revenues governmental. So if you go halfway down the page and look at that first column, you see total general revenues of $61,754,000. That number actually increased $1.6 million, or about 2%. So not a big increase there in our general revenues. But if you look at that next column, which is your business type activities, this again is just your utility department. You see $638,067 in general revenues in the utility department. That number actually decreased $750,000. And that's because you received less transfers from the general fund going into the utility department. In 2023, they had about a $1.2 million transfer. This year, you see we only had a $500,000 transfer from general fund to utility department. And I just wanted to point out that your utility department is a business type activity because it should operate as a business. We noted that, again, you look in that, just in that department, you see we have a net loss of $919,000. That net loss has been going on, or a net loss has been going on for the past 6 years. So this is your 6 years that utility department has been operating at a net loss. And if it wouldn't be from transfers from the general fund, that loss would even be larger. So that, and again, if you look further down where it says change in net position, there's your $20,469,000. That's basically your net income for the year, and that's all your funds, utility and general fund and all the other debt service funds. And the other thing I wanted to point out on the next page, on page 154, we did have one audit finding, and this is related to the budget. And again, this is something we typically have. If you have a variance in a department of greater than 5%, based upon the legislative auditor's requirements, we have to report that. So in one fund, in the American Rescue Plan Fund, the actual expenditures exceeded the budget expenditures by 24%. So this is a repeat finding. And the recommendation is that we recommend that management implement procedures to monitor the budget to actual comparisons and amend the budgets as deemed necessary to comply with the Louisiana Local Government Budget Act. And then you had management's response there. The other thing I wanted to point out was the legislative auditors each year is now requiring us to do agreed upon procedures. And that's those 14 procedures that begin on page 157. They're very specific with what we have to look at, and we have to sample those. So this year we had no exceptions on the agreed upon procedures. Now next year they're going to change it. Either we will start from the beginning and have to look at all of them again, or they may change the agreed upon procedures. We don't know that yet, but again, that's something that we will look at for the year 2025. So does anybody have any questions? I realize it's a big report, and again, thanks to all those who helped put it together, because it does take some time.
We appreciate that. Any questions for Ms. Pritchett? Thank you so much. We
Okay.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay. All right, approval of the minutes.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to forego the reading of the minutes and accept them as written.
We have a motion to accept the minutes as written. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Darden. Roll call, please.
Allen? Yes. Dominic? Yes. Pierce?
Yes.
Jenkins? Yes. Bradford?
Yes.
Martinez? Yes. Jordan?
Yes.
Jewell?
Yes.
Motion carries. Mr. President?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the council, council clerk, Ms. Suso. I did give y'all my president's report. We do have a couple recognitions today. We do have one employee that couldn't make it today, Ms. Gail Salvadres, which hit 23 years of service. So I want to congratulate Ms. Gail for 23 years of service with the parish. Do have a couple more employees that made it. Miss Lorraine, I see her here. Miss Lorraine Fair has made 10-year mark with the parish government, and recently, and I was going to make that announcement today, that she is going to be now known as the assistant director of sales tax department. So thank you very much. Lorraine, would you like to say any words? Come on up. Thank you. Go ahead.
I just want to say 10 years, ups and downs, but I have learned that through ups and downs, you still just have to be humble and do what you're supposed to do. So that's my goal, was to do my job, be humble, and I made it to 10 years. Thank God.
Thank you.
Our next employee being recognized for 5 years of service was Mr. Chris Raymond. So Mr. Chris is an IPRD employee.
Would you like to say something, Mr. Raymond?
All right, you say he's too old for that, but congratulations on that 5-year mark, Mr. Raymond. Operations, as everybody knows, we have a tropical storm kind of popped up in the Texas, Florida peninsula down there that's looking to come straight west, come towards Louisiana to potentially drop anywhere from 3 to maybe even upwards of 12 inches of rain in Louisiana. So our staff met today. They've been working on additional sandbags, and we will, as of tomorrow, we're going to start moving sandbags into location, and we'll have them at 19 locations across the parish. So all the sites that you are very familiar with that we have distributed across your communities, those are going to be happening. We did have our mayor's meeting last week in Rosedale at the new fire station. So they got the new fire station complete. It's a great location, especially for situations during storms. They have 8 beds on top, as well as a large facility to host meetings and trainings. We did have our grants director, Ms. Brittany DuPont, spoke to the mayors about the great opportunities that are ahead in the grants that may be coming down from the state level and federal level as well. The Highway 1 Board project, I know this is in Councilman Markin's district, but that project is on hold right now. We're waiting to get with the city of Plaquemine about lowering their water line. There's a water main comes all the way from the Intercoastal Bridge in Port Allen, comes all the way south to Plaquemine, where that water line is actually in the location, direct bore of where the culvert needs to go underneath the highway. So we are in talks with the city of Plaquemine and the mayor to kind of get that project and that water line moved so we can get that drainage fixed. We do have, y'all all know that we've had 2 boom trucks on order. They are set to arrive within the next few weeks. I talked to Brandon, sanitation supervisor today, just to verify. And then we actually had a motor go out last week. So we are doing an emergency declaration to go ahead and purchase an additional truck because of that motor going out. So we will have probably within the first week or second week of August, we're going to have 3 brand new trucks on the road that's going to be working and taking care of all the debris on the side of the road. And it's going to be just in time with hurricane season coming up. The Bayou Pigeon boat launch, the work is back underway since the water has dropped, and they're going to be resuming that work, which is going to delay the project, right? The high water is going to delay the project going into the first quarter of 2026 to complete that project. Camp 360, another great success. Another success at IPRD. It was at the Civic Center. That project, or that camp, had over 100 kids that were involved right here in Plaquemine. Our goal next year is to make sure we take that camp and grow it. We need to be we need to host one in the north part of the parish and in St. Gabriel as well. White Castle hosts one as well, but we're going to see if there's a way that we can team up with them and some of those funds can be funneled through IPRD to make sure that they're supporting all kids from all parts of the parish. I know y'all have had a little bit of information on the rate study already, and I did. I met with Ms. Margaret today with the auditor's office, and it's just as she stated, this last 6 years of our operating losses, it's important that we in this year having a $900,000 loss that we support this rate study. And I heard you, Councilman Jewell, you talked about if there would have been increments, right? So if you take all the valuations of that rate study and you throw the increments in there per year, because there hasn't been a rate increase in 10 years, you take that rate study, that's an average of 83 cents per year, that if it would have annually been increased, that's what it breaks down to, is 83 cents per year on all of them combined. So that kind of throws it into a little bit perspective on an annual basis and not just all at once. But the goal is, part of this structure is that it's going to include a CPI. So from here moving forward, it's not going to be where there's a fixed rate for the next 5 years. It has to be that annual increase to make sure that we don't fall behind, because we cannot afford to lose $900,000 a year in utilities. We have to make sure that we're building the infrastructure towards the future. And there's a lot of areas that are underrepresented or don't even have. And it's not the main purpose of potable water. It's not for fire hydrants, but there are so many areas that don't even have fire hydrants across the parish. We do have some projects that are moving forward. I did meet with a lot of the council members within the last few weeks, and I gave many of y'all a tour of the water plant, of the 911 facility and to show you the progress that's coming with 911, how we're going to actually take 911 and we're going to grow it. I know that our OEP director is here tonight, Clint. And when I first came in, Clint presented a plan to me, and I'm proud to say that we're finally moving that plan forward to take 911 and increase it from a 4-person room to an 8-person room, where now we're going to be able to fit more Iberville Sheriff's dispatchers in the same room with 911, which is going to increase our response time to all residents of Iberville Parish. Had many conversations already with many deputies and say they feel that this method has already saved lives across the parish. That project is coming. The Bayou Blue Water Park. I know, Councilman, we've talked about that project in itself. It's going to be advertising next week is what I'm being told by our architects. And then the restrooms across the parish, we're going to be at many of the parks. Now, where you may see restrooms coming at many parks across the parish, but what we're also going to do is make sure we add cameras as well. It's important that our facilities are protected, but also we have cameras to make sure that our residents, our parents, our moms that may be there with their children feel more safe in an environment where there's cameras that are watching every move, just in case anybody else attends those parks. Throughout the community and upcoming dates, we had our Juneteenth event. It was at the Civic Center, a good, successful event. And then we also had, on July 5th, we had a T.A. Levy monument unveiling at the Rosedale Community Center. It was a way to represent and to kind of commemorate the significant impact that T.A. Levy School had in the Grove State, Rosedale, and Maringouin communities. I do have in front of me a roof patch kit. So many of you have known it's perfect time. It's hurricane season coming up. So this is it's a simple tear. And then what happens is inside the roof patch kit is a vinyl protective material that's a 5x7 tarp. So there's nails, and in this tarp, there's this tarp is actually, many of y'all, everybody has seen the Lamar signs on side the road, the big billboard signs, right? This is a 5x7 tarp of the same material. Because what happened was they were found into a position where when these go to the garbage sites, they don't deteriorate, right? So it's just sitting at these sites and it can't disintegrate. So what happened is they're actually repurposing these, and this is on behalf of the Every Shelter product, and we are thankful to the teamwork of Shintech, Westlake, and other PVC manufacturers that have teamed up to donate over $1 million to make this possible towards the effort. What it does is, this is more along the lines if you have a window busted out or a small hole. And when you think about those FEMA tarps, those big, large blue tarps, they're like 20 foot by 40 foot. So they're very large and they almost take up your whole roof. So this is a smaller patch. I do have one for each of the council members. They did only donate 200. So unfortunately, it's not like we can do a big, community giveaway because we're limited to the number of these. But in the situations of a storm or a hurricane, we will have these available, and hopefully the long intended purpose is that we would receive more from maybe Shintech and Westlake and the contributors that made these. So I do have one for y'all, and I just want to kind of present it and show it to y'all tonight. I do know the last thing I have that I'm going to kind of discuss a little bit is that another item that's on the agenda tonight. And I'm just going to say a little bit of this because I know in a little while you're going to get a lot of information from the public, maybe in the public aspect of that. Not only from the public, but also AT&T as well. I know that in the last council meeting that y'all had turned down the AT&T. And, our administration is being tasked with we work with our lawyers and we talk with the lawyers a lot in that aspect. And I want to mention that we did put it back on the agenda, but I felt like it was just so rushed last month where all the council members really didn't have a chance to understand a lot of the information that's coming out and what I'm going to reference as the Telecommunications Act of 1996. So there are many reasons why we can't discriminate against cell phone towers and the locations. So that's why we kind of brought it back to you. Now, if it was up to me, I'd prefer we take it and move it and place it wherever, far away from residents. But I'm not AT&T. I don't know signal location. I don't know where the best locations can be to provide cell phone service to residents of the parish. I do know that within the courthouse right here, one block over, we have a cell phone tower right here in the heartbeat of the community right here. And I do know that by